Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world today. I hope you're absolutely fantastic. Let me try and move this camera. I'm like in the corner over there. Yeah. All right, so centered, focused. Let's get into this. Bitcoin, a wonderful thing to trade, but hell can it be frustrating. So where I am right now is reevaluating what the next steps could potentially be. It's been a long period of really patient or a long period which requires patience. Yesterday was a public holiday. The day before that was Father's Day. I mean, we had like a Father's Day weekend, so it's just kind of been like back to back busy. Let me just try to find my words. Sorry, I know we live in an instant gratification setup now where you've got like 3 seconds before you lose someone's focus. But this is more important than entertainment garbage that flips through the phone. So please forgive me whilst I kind of find my feet and get back into it. And I appreciate your patience. All right, so the 2048 is the dominant trend direction, and what I'm looking for over here is to figure out what trend wants to do next. Okay, so my initial thoughts was that we're going to have a big move up to this area. However, with this crumbling, it seems to be not wanting to exit kill zone. All right, so if you've done the course and you follow the MTOPS method, which I highly recommend if you haven't done it already, you'll notice that we should strictly wait until price has exited out of kill zone, which it hasn't yet. And I've made the mistake of trying to preempt trend, and I've gotten into 4 positions, make it 5 positions during this higher frame kill zone, which I've closed for variance a varied amount of losses. And I am now just sitting and waiting because it's one hell of a frustrating time to be caught up in. So just waiting for some clarity on the market over here. It's not impossible for price to potentially get along there, get to there, and then just start moving its way up. I've seen that happen before, and right now, whatever happens next, I'm just waiting for price to get out of this kill zone area. So basically exit past that red line. If it doesn't, then the uptrend is not confirmed. Then what we've got is price trying to move to the downside. So 7 not finished with where it wants to land up. So evidence that may support that is that the oscillator is open and down and not switched to the upside. So what could potentially be happening is price trying to crawl down to this section and maybe anchor in over there, and then from that point perhaps move back up again. Because I don't have a time frame that's higher than the 2048, that's the highest time frame we have access to, I can't really see what's trying to, its dominant trend is trying to do. So with this, it's just best to kind of sit it out. I suppose now that it's forming a bit more, my aggravated self wants to get into a short position and then potentially ride that down to wherever this could be. Now, the trick with that, or the problem with that rather, is that should that be the case, we will be going in counter trend, which means that as none of this is prepared, so I like to be raw and authentic and open whilst I'm charting. So if there's some stops and starts and redirects, it's because I'm finding out more information on the fly, and this is pretty much the way I operate when the cameras are off, so you get to see what it's like from a authentic perspective and how things will go in the setup. So what I'm seeing here is 6 is below 4, So that low is below the low, that low. That's pretty much on par. So maybe a double top. And then the 7 is just only slightly above 5, which means that it's not impossible for there to be a downtrend. With the market going up as much as it has, it does need to also consider different structures. That's what markets are meant to do. That's what the healthy environment of a moving market does. It goes ups and downs and cycles. So it's our job to anticipate where that's going to take us next. The reason I say all of that is because I would love to get in a short position and ride this down. But the reason why I'm not going to do that is because 7 is slightly above 5, which means that we should see a higher low. And I just don't want to get into a counter trend position, assuming that price is not going to break the recent low. So 6 is the recent low. We're running out of space in this quadrant. I think if 8 hasn't formed already, which 11 suggested that it did, oscillator is still open and down though. If the next turning point hasn't happened already, I highly doubt we're going to see it below 6, which is at $75,000. I don't think we're going to see like a massive dump to below $75,000. So for that reason, it's best just to kind of wait it out for the next confirmation to come in. So it either comes down to, say, around about here. The reason I say that is because we got 23 on the cube root, 100%, 1/1 and arc 4, and also I suppose underneath the concave of the sine wave. So we got that as the highest probability outcome next if it's going down. And then once it gets there, we've got to wait for the next kind of kill zone to be confirmed, and then either head up or down or reevaluate the market. So not a lot to report on if that's the case, because we have to sit on our hands, right? And I mean, when I say we have to, we don't. We don't have to only trade in trend. However, as I haven't listened to those rules and I got caught up in this section over here, I've now been punished 4 or 5 times. I mean, not all of them were significant losses. It was kind of frustrating, like break-even style losses, a lot of them, or 4 of them, and one was kind of a revenge trade, but anyway, that's my problem. So what I think's best is just to hang on for another week to figure out what it wants to do, because right now, my point being is that you don't have to wait, but I didn't, and I got punished for it. So that's the reason why I've created rules, is to avoid punishment. However, it's one thing knowing the rules, it's another thing following the rules. And as humans, we're not typically very good at following the rules. Hence the reason why I'm getting AI to do that kind of stuff, or in the process of AI to get that stuff done, because I'm just so tired of the mental turmoil of all of this stuff, or trading for oneself. So if that's the case on the 2048, then I don't think this is going to materialize where that was an option for. This line didn't hold it up, so that's now breaking down, which kind of begs the question, was 16 and 100% where the turning points happened? I mean, the oscillators switched. 16 and 100% suggests that it could be a turning point. It's at arc 2, the 1/4. So let's put that down and see. Okay. I was wondering why it was such a neat build, but what could be happening is that on the 512, that it's actually in itself building a kill zone, which drives me nuts because I would love to get into a short now. But I gotta wait again. It's so frustrating. The kill zones are killers, dude. It kills your positions, it kills your profit. It's just not fun. So maybe if I do go short, I will wait a few days just for it to show some potential confirmation of moving to the downside. The 128 is what's kind of spurred on the concept or the potential of it being a downtrend. We've got here 7 below 5, and this is quite clear that it's forming a turning point. It looks like it wants to move down relatively rapidly, but again, because it's quite snug or quite early in on the transition, it's hard. It's best to maybe get some clarity on the higher frames on what it wants to do. So one potentiality is that it just kind of drops along this line, so it lands up on the cube root 18. So if I just drop that over there, one potential is that once you get to that 18, another potential is that, and I've seen this happen a few times, it stops, it pulls back up, and then it heads down. To that 35, 100 mark right there. Yeah, this all says to me I was basically just got to sit on my hands with the large positions. And the reason why I'm saying sit on my hands is because where I trade the higher frames, which means I put in like a $3,500 position, and then I allow it to kind of move along with the dominant trend, whilst having smaller positions created by the AI on the lower frame whilst the beta test. But just having that profit cushion on the higher frames means that my drawdown's protected when in profit if some of the lower AI positions don't work out too well. So it's almost like insurance against the account blowing up according to the prop firm's rules. And that's why I'm taking like the pressure, the onus, and that kind of stuff on the higher frame to trade myself. Whereas I'm very tempted to obviously get into the lower frame trading, but because I'm only human after all, I'll rather let the AI do it. Because like, for example, that move right there is super profitable. If you put in on leverage $1,000 up there, that's basically $2,500 return. And that's if you didn't catch. Wow, look at all of that. See, the lower frames for me is like where the earning potential really is, and it's a lot more frequent than the higher frames and so forth. However, because I'm advancing the platform and I'm making adjustments with how everything speaks to each other, the process flow, I'm not necessarily opening up the trades on the AI right now. It's mostly just focusing on these upper trades. And again, it's just been a very frustrating period. Days, I mean, more than a week of coming and doing the job, doing the setup, getting into a position, and just been like held there and just watching it go the wrong direction. And because it's large trades, I have that like the knee-jerk reaction, like let me just close it to preserve the account at large. And then basically nothing happens the day after, nothing happens the day after. So I'm really looking forward to just handing it over to the AI and just saying like, just run with the profit. I'm going to go take the dogs for a walk on the beach. Yeah, to summarize this video, it looks like we're still heading down. But because we have 7 above 5, it'll be a down that's higher than 6, which means if I open up a trade here, it'll be counter trend, which again, it means I just got to sit out until the next confirmed turning point, until the price is then left the kill zone, and then take a position from there in trend. And that can take about a week from now, which super sucks. And I suppose just closing off, it's getting to the end of the month. And for those who trade full time and don't have a big nest egg to get them through the quieter times, this is when the pressure really sits. It's because you've got to make profit down, and then you got to make profit back up, right? Or just to ride the transitions, just so you can get your what's the word I'm looking for? Your withdrawals and deposits, your payouts from the prop firms and from your account, so you can pay for rent and groceries and everything that everyone needs. However, when you're at the mercy of the market on the higher frames, it's really hard to do. And again, that's the reason why I've chosen the lower time frames. It's because you can make a lot more moves a lot more often, and therefore not been held in contempt on the higher frames. Alright guys, that's it for today. If you have any questions, reach out to me on Telegram. My details are on the screen. And